Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Fast Money Plan. Today, Alex, we're gonna talk about a topic. You brought it up on the phone, so I just wanted to bring it to, as they say in the rap game, I'm gonna put it on wax. You know what I mean? Uh, so, but you said something. You said it feels like I changed the story. I forgot your exact verbiage, or I changed the narrative when it comes to investing. And I just want to put it out there so we can get it out, and maybe I can clarify something because the same way you feel is the same way some of our viewers feel. So let's chop it to it. So when you say that, what do you mean? And break it down for us.
Um, the narrative, I mean, so I think what I said if was sometimes I take some things you say and I run with it, and then there's other things that you say, and then I get confused with what direction to go.
Right. Yeah, that's what you
And
said. See, you see, I already messed it up.
I
But go
think
ahead.
is that what it was? Was it that saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what you said. That's what you said.
So, I mean, and it could maybe be me. Maybe I'm not listening to every word in full detail as to what you're saying originally. And then when you say something different, I'm thinking it's contradicting, but maybe I'm not understanding the first statement. Um, but from I think I've seen you do this a few times, or I've misunderstood you a few times, maybe. But just knowing you from how you operated, let's say when I first met you, which was I think 2019. So
Mhm.
2019, I mean, you operated way different than you do now. Um, and it could just be an evolutionary change of how you operate, and you have to adjust to that. I think I have a bad habit maybe of I hear one thing, I stick with it, I hold it, and then I just go with that. And then I forget you've got to keep innovating. Um, and it's on different things. I mean, it could be like trying to think of some right now. I mean, the most recent one we were discussing was with you know, you coaching me on you've got to basically go all in on a deal. Um, and so I'm taking that as in like, okay, let me find something, let me make it work. And I know I have experience on how to make a deal work to where it can benefit me. I can profit off of it because I know how to put in the work. And then that's when you corrected me and you said, well, the key point that I said was find the right deal at the right time and then back the truck up. And so,
Mhm.
points like that, it probably slipped my mind. I'm thinking, well, shit, I can find you and I know how to make a deal. I mean, it could be a crap deal. We just know how to make it work. It's just a matter
Well,
of how to massage it. But maybe that's not always the key. Um, some like you said at the same time, if if the person you're getting the deal from didn't do any work, you're paying them a premium now for basically taking that deal that had no work done to it, and then you're putting in all the work. So you pay that person a premium plus you do the work, which has its points. And I mean, it's not like I jot these down like every time like you say one thing and then I hear another thing from you, it's not like I jot down like, oh, Kirby messed up. So I can't really remember some of the previous ones, but it'll be yeah, sometimes it'll you'll say some things and it could be on the stock market. It could be in with buying stocks. I guess I'll just have to notate the next one. I guess I don't know. Yeah, I don't remember any others, but it has occurred to me frequently, I will say.
right. And I appreciate your candor on that. And one thing that you said that was spot on for me, it's first the evolution. The evolution, like Michael Zuber said from one rental at a time, you always add new tools to your toolbox all the time. And the thing is when I say something, I'm stacking it on top of the things I previously said. It's not, I mean, the reason why I like in the Discord, the reason why in the Discord I post the mortgage interest rates. Try to post the mortgage interest rates every Friday to let people know where the interest rates at. I'm not posting those interest rates just so people can be like, "Oh, it's getting higher." No, it's telling you the level of aggression you should be on the deal. The more the interest rate rise, that means there's more pressure on the buyer or more cost to the buyer. So you as a buyer, you have to be going in aggressive. It's not the seller fault that they don't. I mean, the seller don't realize what's going on the economic side. They're just trying to sell. They're trying to sell for their price. They're trying to get out of bad situations. But the higher that interest rate goes, you got to find a way to do more aggressive deals to make that monthly cost be lowest possible to you to make that property cash flow. So that's why I do it. I don't just do it because I'll be like, oh yeah, the interest rate's going higher. Look, I told y'all the interest rates are going higher. I don't care about that. But the thing is now with the interest rates going higher, that means the cost of capital going higher, the cost of everything is going higher. You have to find ways to manipulate the deal to make it work for you. Because with that, with all of these costs going higher and all these interest rates going higher, think of what else is going higher. Car payment interest rates are going higher. Credit card interest rates are going higher. You know, everybody, damn near everybody's in debt, and especially most of the tenants that you have in these properties, they're in debt also. So when those interest rates go higher, that's more of their money from their paycheck has to go to XYZ, all this other payment. So if you have the ideal of, let's just say, all right, I'm gonna get this property is below market, I can raise the rent. You can't raise what ain't there. If they ain't got it, they just don't have it. So that's why it's all encompassing. It's not just a singular thing. You just looking through a scope and you're not paying attention to all the other byproducts of what's going on out there. So those are the things, but it's all about stacking and understanding. Like, let's say 5 years ago, when I started buying, well, more than 5 years ago, when I started buying rental properties, I had no idea that the 10-year treasury affected the mortgage interest rate. I had no clue. But then once you know better, you got to do better. So once I know something and then I studied, researched it, and I know it's better, then I gotta go tackle it. I gotta go add that and stack that on top of the information. Add more tools to the tool bag. I knew about seller finance. Well, I knew about subject to, but I didn't know it was called subject to. I knew about it, but seller finance, I didn't think it was no way in hell possible that somebody would sit there and let them be the bank and you paying them for a property with little to no interest. So I added it to the two bank. So now every deal I come across, I'm always asking for seller finance first. But that's what it is. It's you have to keep stacking, keep stacking, keep stacking. And like when I talk to you about being aggressive, or when I talk to anybody, and I'm saying you got to be more aggressive and you going all in deal. That don't mean you have to go find a deal today. That don't mean you have to find a deal tomorrow. What it means is you have to keep looking over and over and over again. I don't care if it takes you 3 years, but you have to be aggressive at looking first, and then when you find that deal that just jump off the page from you, then you got to make an all in move on. But if you sit there and you lower yourself and like, okay, I'm good. I'm just gonna sit here and I'm just gonna do what I know. The world's passing you by. The world's gaining more knowledge and they're doing stuff. So it's always about obtaining knowledge, add stuff to the tool bag, obtain knowledge, especially at these high interest rates. It's not going to be a lot of deals on the real estate market or hell, even the stock market at this point that it's going to be like, okay, I can put my money in here at these high interest rates and it's still going to work. It's going to be okay. I need to research, and then there's going to be somebody going to be offside. It's either going to be the realtor listed a price offside or something like that. The real estate agent might be offside by listing the property wrong. The seller might be in a distressed situation. But if you're not diligently running the numbers, penciling deals 24/7 to know, then you don't know what's out there. You can't sit there and wait to be like, oh, the interest rates drop. Now it's a better deal for me. No, the interest rate drops for everybody. You got to be you got to be willing to do something that's outside the box that everybody's not doing. Like right now, because the interest rates are so high and then the demand for real estate is so low, that means you have less competition as a buyer. So if there's less competition, that's less people willing to buy, so that gives you more opportunity to do an aggressive deal. So the deals that you probably did 2 years ago, those ain't the same deals you're doing now. You're doing way better deals and more aggressive. And then, of course, it's gonna be a seller that's out there like, oh, I'm not willing to budge yet. I'm not willing to budge yet. But eventually, it's gonna be people that's willing to budge. But if you're not out there making those phone calls, doing the work, then you get left behind and don't get the understanding of what's going on.
Yeah. And I think so, like remembering a couple of the things that you've changed on would be like, so I mean, when I met you, this was like I said back in 2019. I think at that time, yeah, you had all your properties paid off cash. Um, and then I remember, what was it, maybe like 2 years later, two, yeah, like 2 years later, you're like, I'm refinancing everything. And I was like, I thought we weren't supposed to do that. So, it was things like that where, you started changing, and I was like, okay, well, I had this mindset of what he told me in the beginning. I thought I couldn't do this. And then similarly to the crypto, I think I got maybe a little bit like shy with crypto, um, because of what we always said. You don't really know what it is. But then the agenda for crypto started pushing. Not so much worrying about the price, but the agenda of crypto is going to be important started getting more and more. And then you started talking about buying Bitcoin. I know you owned Bitcoin previously on that first jump where it jumped to like what was it, 19,000. Um, but like you were actively talking more about crypto. And then so I was like, oh, well, this is not what I'm used to hearing. So like it's always like when I hear one thing, I'm just like, all right, let me grab that and let me just like shelter with it. But then you start like changing it and I'm like, should I be changing too? Like, so I guess I get hesitant because from the perspective of, I guess I would say, a student, is like you look at someone, the person that that's teaching you, and you know that, so like you hear their story, every path or every step that they took led them to where they're at now. So like I look at you and it's like, all right, every step that he's told me led him to where he's at now. If I just follow that, I like kind of what you do with Warren Buffett. And I'm like, if I just follow that, I'll be good. And so then when you tell me something different, I'm like, well, he didn't take those steps to get there. So this is a new step, like this is the steps he took previously have already shown to work. This hasn't been proven yet. So it's like, I guess that falls on me too, because I've got to break out of that like comfort zone of, learning how to take more risk in those avenues. Taking risk with something that I know is going to work doesn't seem like an issue. But sometimes maybe taking risk on things where it's like a 50-50 chance seems like a gamble. And I've never even bought a scratch off. So that's
Right.
where I
And no,
sit.
no, I understand your perspective, but the thing is like I always say, me, I'm always going to be a student. So the more I learn, the more I'm gonna share. I mean, like you said about
Hmm.
Bitcoin. Yeah, I traded it, but I never looked at it as an investment until I got more information. Once you get more information, that's why I always use the line, if you knew better, you'd do better.
Yeah.
Once you have the information, I can't act like I don't have it no more.
Yeah.
Just like you mentioned Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett swore off he wasn't investing in tech at all. But now he's the biggest shareholder in Apple. So I could sit there and be like, oh no, Warren Buffett said back in the 90s and the early 2000s, he ain't never invested in tech. But now he's the biggest shareholder in Apple.
Yeah.
Was he a hypocrite or did he learn something? He learned something. Oh, so once you learn something, again, once you know better, you got to do better. And I'm not sitting there saying, oh, just because I say, oh, go invest in crypto, everybody should go jump in. What I'm saying is, hey, I got some new information and I'm doing this. That's not a green light for you to follow me. That's a green light for you to go research so you can understand what you're doing. It's not a that's the thing. So when I bring it up something new, it's because I learned something new. When I shift the mindset into real estate, it's because the dynamics change. During COVID time, it was a seller's market. We was I mean, we still was doing aggressive deals in the seller's market. So why the hell we wouldn't be doing greater deals in a buyer's market? Because it changed. The whole dynamic changed. Like in a Discord, you see me post different stuff about how much the year-over-year sales of homes go. It's not just say, oh, look, everybody, nobody's got demand for housing. No, that's saying that's the green light for you to be like, okay, well, my competition is just Wayne. Let me go see if there's something out there. Let me go see if there's somebody that's in a distressed situation. It's not my agenda is not, oh, everybody be scared with it. It's giving information so you can look into it and then click. Okay, so now if 85% of the people don't believe this is a good time to buy, that means 85% of my competition is gone. Because you as an investor, a real estate investor, you have to go against the people the buy and hold investors, you gotta go against the flippers, and you gotta go against the people that just want to buy a house just to live in. Now all of them are out of the market. Now it's your time to shine. Or you could just follow the course and be like, oh, well, they said it's a bad time to buy. I remember I was flying from Killeen, Texas back here, and a guy gave me a book to read. And I wish I had the book around me now, but I can't think of the title. And then he was sitting there, and he was in the military just like me, and he'd been investing. And he was like, you know, the funny thing is, I don't care about the interest rate. That was something new to me. That was something totally new to me when he said it. He was like, I don't care about the interest rate. He was like, long as I can underwrite the deal to make sure it'll put cash flow in my pocket after I take care of the debt obligations and the maintenance obligations. He was like, I don't care. He was like, the interest rate could be 20%. That was something new. So I didn't go sit there and dismiss him and be like, oh, well, no, I believe in the interest rate. I He told me about the book. I bought the book soon as I landed. I bought it in the airport on Amazon, and then like 2 days later it landed at my house. I read the whole book. But I see why he don't care about the interest rate. And I can't sit here and be like, okay, now I understand why you don't care about the interest rate. I can't just sit here and be like, I'm gonna hold this to myself because it's against everything. Because now I know better. I can't sit here and be like, oh well, I know better, but I'm just gonna stick to my guns. Forget that. I can't do it. I just can't. I will be a hypocrite to myself if my goal is to achieve uh, a premium. If my goal is to achieve the alpha, then I'm going for the alpha. And I'm just when I'm sharing this stuff, it's just, hey, this is other stuff I learned. Maybe you should pick it up. Now, if it don't fit your narrative, then it don't fit your narrative. But you shouldn't be ignorant to it just because, oh no, I don't believe in it. Don't believe in it. Bitcoin's at $1,000. People don't believe in it. Now it's at 100,000. People believe now. So, so do you want the money or you want to hold on to some belief that's maybe not true? So that's really my concept on it. I know this video ran long, but I wanted to hash that one out and talk about it. But if you got something else, what you got?
No, and those were all good points. I mean, there's nothing wrong in what you're saying. You've got to evolve. And that's just a learning process for any student. I heard you say in the beginning that there's other people that are telling you the same thing. And it's just you've got to evolve. I mean, that's something I've learned, you know. It's not like when you've coached me on something and I took that, I ran with it, and then you know, coached me on something different that maybe went against that first teaching. I was like, oh no, I can't do that. It was just like maybe I was a little bit more hesitant, but the more it started to click, it was like, okay, I've got to move with this too. And that's something that people have to be willing to do if you want to learn and grow. You've got to innovate. I mean, one of the most common sayings in business is, you know, if you're not growing, you're dying. I mean, and that's absolutely just how it is. You got to keep up with all the information, like you're saying, all the, you know, the 10-year treasury, the interest rates, what crypto is doing, what real estate investors are doing. Because, like you said, you're competing with everybody, institutions, mom and pop, flippers, the single family people. So there's everything that you've got to consider. And um and yeah, I mean it's not like I was saying you were wrong or anything. It was just like it's something I had noticed. But with that said, guys, if you got any questions or comments, let us know down below. If you have any topics you'd like us to talk on, let us know down below. Also send us videos to react to an email address on this screen, and we'll see you guys on the next video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe.